By now, I'm sure you have seen the podcast that Theo Von did with Sean Strickland. On this podcast, the highly anticipated podcast, Sean Strickland breaks down in tears over the abusive childhood that he suffered. And first and foremost, I just want to commend Theo Von on the fact that he behaved like an absolute professional and just an overall great guy. He offers to just sort of sit and talk and let Sean kind of go through what he's going through. He even offers to delete it, even though this could cost him time, money, all this type of thing. Sean, of course, being the guy that he is, said, no, go ahead. It is what it is, right? So I'm going to be getting into just some of my thoughts with the podcast, but more importantly, what I'm going to be getting into is how this is going to impact Sean Strickland in the future, his upcoming fight this month, and how he moves forward from here. There's a couple things that I think should be highlighted, and I'm going to get into that right now. What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Ultimate Punching, the Ultimate MMA channel. Yeah, I put the word ultimate in front of everything, and it makes it better. That is just a proven scientific fact. What I need you guys to do, if you wouldn't mind, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. It helps grow the channel, helps with YouTube algorithm. I appreciate you immensely. So basically, you know, for a little bit of context, I'm sure you guys have seen it. By the way, the link for this podcast is in the description below. For a little bit of context, this has sort of been floating around ever since the press conference with Sean Strickland and Dricus Du Plessis. Now, all of you know that this fight is happening on January 20th, right? And Sean Strickland is kind of a trash-talking kind of guy. He was making fun of Sean O'Malley being, letting his wife sleep with other men. He's making fun of Ian Gary and his wife. You know, he's making fun of Dricus Du Plessis for the fact that him and his coach seem to have some intimacy going on, whatever the case may be, right? And so kind of as a response, Dricus Du Plessis said that in this fight, I am going to bring you back to when you were a child. What I'm going to do to you in that cage is going to bring back all those childhood memories of what it was like when your dad was essentially beating the crap out of you, right? And Sean Strickland's been open about the fact that he was abused as a child, right? I don't wish that upon anyone. Like, you can see from his reaction in that video, like that was a hard childhood, right? Talked about how he's fallen asleep in class, then he breaks down in tears. And like, I don't wish that upon any kid or anybody like that. I don't even understand how someone can look at, a small kid who's basically defenseless and just do that to them, right? It's horrible, But at the same time, like, I always believe that there's a level of cosmic justice out there, in the sense that Sean Strickland went through something terrible, but at the same time, like, it made him into this incredible fighter. And what we're seeing from, like, even before then, but essentially from when he became champion until now, like, we're seeing this growth and development of a human being. Like, we're seeing this play out live. He's talked on his Twitter about, fighting away the demons, training, sparring, all this type of stuff helps him keep the demons away, different things like that. We're seeing him grow and just kind of mature as a person right before our eyes, which I think that's absolutely incredible. But, it's just sort of an interesting dynamic in the sense that Sean Strickland doesn't mind dishing it out, but then he kind of calls, like, there are just some things you shouldn't talk about, right? I mean, I kind of agree with him in the sense that, look, anything that you choose to do as an adult, to me, is fair game, right? If you marry the wag that Ian Gary married, or if you're okay with being in an open relationship and your wife's sleeping with other men, you guys both agree on that and whatever, or like you choose to be intimate with other men, like if these are things that you choose to do as an adult, I agree that those things are fair game. And ultimately, I feel like it's kind of a hit below the belt when you bring up something like someone's deceased father, somebody's kids who can't really defend themselves, or like child abuse that happened. All of that kind of stuff are things that happen to them. It's not something you chose for yourself. You know what I mean? So, like, I get his point, right? But at the end of the day, we have to make a decision as fans, as a community, like, is everything fair game or is nothing fair game, right? Do we just sort of sit there, they ask them questions about fighting and then leave? Or do we want to see a buildup? Do we want to see bad blood? Do we want to see animosity, right? After that press conference, first of all, like, forget what he said, but Dricus Du Plessis can play the villain, right? Like, he can play the role of the villain 100%. If he decides to go down this road and just say, like, sort of evil, fucked up shit to all of his opponents in the future, this guy could be a mega draw for the middleweight division, which, by the way, is needed, right? Like, I would say almost everybody in that division is boring, with the exception of Izzy, Sean, and now Dricus Du Plessis. Like, everybody else in that division is a big snooze. Paulo Costa is a little bit entertaining, and now that Chimaev's in there, maybe there's a little bit there as well. But everybody else in that, like, if I weren't a hardcore fan, I wouldn't know their names. You know what I mean? So, Dricus Du Plessis doing this, like, kind of an evil statement, although Sean kind of poked the bear a little bit to build up to it. But, you know, this guy could definitely play the villain. Like, if he keeps saying stuff like that in the build up to this, if he wins, you know, the build up to maybe he's fighting Izzy next, who knows, right? But he could definitely, and his, like, evil laugh afterwards, oh man, he could play the villain in the middleweight division for sure. Anyway, that I'm kind of gone off on a tangent here, but the whole point of this video is that, you know, will this affect Sean's performance, right? So I gave you a little bit of background. Now, what we saw at 216 was he actually attacked Dricus Du Plessis, hates the guy, wants to fight him, wants to kill him after kind of the words that were said to him. But the question is, will this impact his performance, right? Now the interview with Theo Von, like, it's a few weeks old now. So, you know, maybe Sean's taking the time to get his head right. He's still preparing. We're a couple weeks out from the fight. But that's the real question, right? So when I first saw that this fight was announced, I thought for sure Dricus Du Plessis is going to steamroll over Sean. But the more I think about it, the more I think that it's a pretty good fight. You know what I mean? So Dricus Du Plessis obviously has power on his side. And if he can get the fight to the ground, I think he's got a bit of an advantage there in terms of strength and size. But Sean Strickland is a black belt in jiu-jitsu. He does claim that he can wrestle, although we've never seen it. And Sean Strickland's hard to hit. Like, on the feet, he's hard to hit. Other than Alex Pereira, I don't think he's been KO'd in a long time. So, you know, and even the fights that he lost, right, it was a split decision. A lot of people thought he won. So the question is he going to fight like his normal self? Is he going to be able to stop the takedown? And if he can stop the takedown, is he going to be, you know, reckless in trying to fight and, you know, KO Dricus Du Plessis? Or is he going to fight his fight, right? I talk about this a lot on this channel. When people, you know, are affected mentally, a lot of the times they come out, they swing for the fences, and they don't stick to their game, right? And we've seen it in the past where it affects their game and they can't perform the way they should. Those are just my thoughts. I thought it was interesting. You know, it sucks that happens to people. You know, especially like whenever kids are involved, it makes me sad, right? No matter who it is in the world, no matter what you believe, like when it's kids, it's just, you know, I have kids of my own. I would never wish that upon any kids out there. Like they're defenseless. They're relatively innocent. Like, you know, nobody deserves that, right? And, you know, I hope there's some level of justice for those kids, because it's just, you know, it's not fair. Anyway, so yeah, what did you guys think? Have you seen that clip? Do you think that Sean Strickland's performance is going to be affected by sort of this mental warfare that Dricus Du Plessis unleashed on him? Do you think it's going to make him worse, or is it going to make him better? Let me know what you think in the comments, and thank you guys for watching. Thanks for stopping by.